The alleged July Unrest instigator and Patriotic Alliance leader Bruce Nimmerhoudt is back in court today. He's accused of creating and distributing a voice note inciting looting and violence. The case was postponed yesterday due to Eskom Stage 5 blackouts. Now, our reporter Silindelo Masikane is monitoring this case, and she joins us now live to give us more details. Quite funny, Slee, that Eskom is to blame even for things such as court cases. What are we expecting to happen today?
Yeah, certainly so. I mean, load shedding certainly is affecting not only businesses, but in fact the manner in which courts are operating, meaning that trials and certain matters are having to work around that load shedding schedule. And so this is why the trial against Bruce Nimmerhoudt was only going to resume after, or is only going to resume after midday today, and that is because the load shedding schedule here in the West Rand, in particular in Roodepoort, the electricity will only be back on just after 12. But of course, the trial has been underway, Masego, since around July this year. In fact, a year later, after Nimmerhout's arrest. And from what we understand is that he's of course alleged and accused of creating a voice note around the 15th of July 2021, apparently inciting violence in the West Rand. You would remember those deadly riots that we experienced last year over 2 weeks or so, where highways were blocked and malls were looted, businesses destroyed. He's accused of being an instigator and trying to flare things up here in the West Rand. And what we saw on Tuesday, Masego, was once more that particular voice note being played in court, and the investigating officer, that is Captain Pagamile Gumede, answering some very tough questions around that voice note, because from what I could hear personally, it does sound as though that voice note has some kind of an effect on it. The voice in that voice note is very deep, and yes, Bruce Nimmerhoudt does have a deep voice himself, and a sample of his voice was also played in court for the investigating officer to compare. And even the IO himself saying that he's not an expert, he can't say for sure that it's Nimmerhoudt who recorded the voice note when you compare it with the sample of Nimmerhout's voice that was played in court. And despite this, some tough questions also coming from the magistrate around the accent, because the IO was alluding to the fact that he could hear accents and so forth. But today what we are expecting is that another police officer, who we understand downloaded the voice note from Nimmerhout's phone, will be called to the witness box this afternoon. And you can, Nimmerhout's actually made his way to my right. He's actually here with his family that you can see behind me, as well as some members of the Patriotic Alliance who've come out to support him. But he maintains his innocence, Masego, saying that in fact he's being framed, and this really is just a way to smear his name.
And Slee, what's the state saying? Do they believe that they have a strong enough case against him?
It seems they do, because that is why I think we, of course, find the matter at this trial stage. I'm going to ask Joel Matlala to just give you a visual to my right. You can see Nimmerhout here at the Roodepoort Magistrates Court. I think he is awaiting his lawyer to arrive. But it seems the state has, for a while now, maintained that they believe they have a strong case. And at this point, we understand that an expert, a voice sampling expert, was also called to the stand, but even they could not confirm for sure whether it was Nimmerhout's voice. But I think it's actually at this point going to now be in the court's hand and the magistrate to actually understand whether there is a strong enough case, whether there is enough evidence against Nimmerhout to actually convict him. I mean, he is facing a Schedule 5 Schedule 5 charges. He's charged of inciting public violence as well as terrorism, and he's actually out on 3,000 Rand bail. We had spoken to his lawyer, Mr. Calvin Richards, after proceedings on Tuesday, and from what we understand, because of the fact that Nimmerhoudt and his lawyer believe that the charges are trumped up, as soon as the state closes its case, we understand that there will be an application for a Section 174 to possibly, of course, have the charges dropped.
All right, Silindelo Masikane live for us outside the Roodepoort Magistrates Court. Let's leave it there for now. Right now, the city of Polokwane has revealed that some of its reservoirs are completely empty. The Limpopo municipality attributes this to rotational power cuts by Eskom. It says these have resulted in water shortages, but the community says water shortages are a reality in that area. eNCA reporter Muloko Moloto has the story.